enjoy this. My birthday was Monday. Now I finally get to go home and enjoy it with some Burger King. Here I come, baby! Yeah. Burger King! Yeah. Burger King! Yeah. Yo! And talk to Bob Bear, because he's my man. Don can't kiss my ass.
What's up, fight fans? Thank you once again for coming back and tuning in. Remember, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. The numbers are growing, thank you. The numbers are growing, slowly but surely. We seem to be getting a following. I love it. It's super hot here right now in Nigeria. It's like, what's the time? 11 p.m. and it's easily 30 degrees. I don't have AC in my room. I can't open the bloody windows because of mosquitoes, and the fan I've got, if I put that on right now, you ain't gonna be able to hear me properly because it's that loud. So I'm gonna struggle and get through this one. All right, so here's another fight that I think is the victim of the Mayweather-McGregor curse right now. And I feel like I'm contradicting myself a lot with this Mayweather-McGregor thing, because I did say it would impede on no fights. In fact, it would generate interest in all fights, and I couldn't be so far from the truth. This is a fight that, scheduling-wise, is just a nightmare. I mean, this fight takes place August 19th, a week before arguably the biggest boxing event of all time. And I hate to say that. I hate saying it's the biggest boxing event, but in terms of numbers, in terms of financial gain, McGregor Mayweather is going to break every single record in the books. And a week before that, we've got Terence Crawford versus Indongo. So you can imagine all the interest in, not just boxing, but every journalist that covers sport is probably going to be looking in some way, shape or form at the Mayweather-McGregor fight. It's just going to happen, right? And then a week before that, you have Indongo versus Crawford, which it's a shame, because I guess Indongo Crawford was probably, the date was probably booked a while ago, 3-4 months ago, maybe even longer than that. So they would never have known that, you know, on August 26th, this was coming. This colossal, this mountain of a fight was coming, and I guess there's nothing they can do. You can imagine Bob Arum going crazy right now, because I think Crawford needs exposure. He might get some of that exposure. If they're smart, they'll use some of that media and try the best they can to kind of point some towards Crawford and Indongo, but I don't see that happens personally. The bad thing as well was you've got Mickey Garcia, Adrian Broner. Look, that's a non-title fight against two guys. One that was out of the ring for nearly 2.5, 3 years because of issues with Top Rank and has never fought at 140, against a guy that, yes, has all the talent, but no one thinks is very serious. And they've taken away some of the limelight as well. And that's another 140-pound fight. But none of that should really matter, because right now we have a unification fight. All the belts are on the line. And that's what should count, right? I'm a boxing fan. That's what I love more than anything. I love unifications. I like saying there's a one-man division and there's no argument. Look, a lot of people think Terence Crawford is that. But when there's another guy out there with 3 belts, you have to kind of look at that guy and think, he could be something. He could be dangerous. He also is a triple world champion. And I think it's good to see a unification fight. And this should be getting everything. This should be getting all the attention of the world. All the boxing world should be looking at this fight right now and thinking, wow. But unfortunately, they won't be. They just won't be. The serious boxing guys will. But a lot of the guys that are on the fringe, a lot of the stations that just cover sport won't be. And that's a shame. Julius Indongo. What do we know about Julius Indongo? Look, I know quite a bit about him. I cover African boxing. And it's funny because tomorrow I'm actually flying out to Namibia, Julius Indongo's country, and I'm covering a boxing tournament there. So I know quite a bit about Julius Indongo. I knew a bit about him before he took on Trianovski and knocked Trianovski out. I knew him obviously way before Ricky Burns' fight. And he's always been, for us African guys over here, he's always been a special talent. The African boxers just simply don't get no push. Like zero push. A lot of people in America complain that some boxers in America don't get no push. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. African boxers rarely get a push. No one's going to ever really want to fight an African fighter as a voluntary, and it takes super duper ages for them to get up to the mandatory positions. It just does. It just does. That's why you get someone like Julius Indongo that's in his 30s and no one's heard of him. But everyone looks at him and think, wow, this is a super talent. And we've seen two sides of him. We've seen the brutal punch power that knocked out Trianovski and got him that win. Again, a win away from home on, if you like, enemy soil, enemy territory. He got the victory there. And then you saw him win a very one-sided beatdown of Ricky Burns. Again, away from home against a very, very experienced Ricky Burns. Remember, this is Ricky Burns that's fought the likes of Beltran and Crawford and Figueroa. So this is an experienced guy. And Ricky Burns just said afterwards that we just didn't know he was that good. We couldn't handle him. And he brings a lot to this fight. Look, he's fighting Terence Crawford. And Terence Crawford, in my eyes, is top 3, top 4 pound for pound right now. I mean, you've got GGG, Ward. This is in no order, by the way. GGG, Ward, Lomachenko, Crawford for me. After Chocolito's lost and after Kovalev's lost, they've dropped a bit. So those 4 are my pound for pound in any order you want. So Terence Crawford is just that damn good. Pretty much cleaned up the 135 division. And I say cleaned up, he only actually won 1 belt, guys. That was a WBO, but let's be honest, he was the man of that division. And now he's doing crazy things at 140. He is dominating 140 in such a way that people think he already is the best 147 pound fighter. That's crazy. And that's how good he is. But even he will be like, we don't know too much about this Indongo guy. Indongo's taller. Indongo's a southpaw. Indongo has snap in that left and in the right, crosses over that right so well. Watch that Ricky Burns fight. And he doesn't have a fear factor. He doesn't have a fear factor at all. I watch a lot of Crawford fights and I think, look, Crawford isn't Mike Tyson, but I think a lot of the people have already lost before they step in that ring with Crawford. All of them after the fight say, I didn't do my best performance. And I sometimes feel that comes down to, yes, Terence Crawford's boxing skills almost shutting down their skills, but at the same time, there's almost a bit of a fear factor with Crawford as well. Indongo won't have that. Trust me, I've seen a lot of these guys in Africa, they have zero respect and zero fear for anyone's record. And this is the opportunity he's been waiting for. This is the opportunity of a lifetime to fight in America, which is their dream, on a big show, their dream, against a very, very elite American. Tick, 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 boom. Terence Crawford's a special talent. There's no two ways about it. We've seen Terence Crawford do everything. I've seen him box against Hank Lundy. I've seen him show amazing boxing skills against Victor Postal. I've seen him almost fight fire with fire against Gambo when he really didn't need to. He's mixed up quite a lot, but don't be surprised if this is his toughest fight. People might think I'm crazy, and I can understand it. I can understand why people might think that. But believe you me, Indongo is a very, very awkward and tricky opponent. Really, really is. And he's unbeaten. And look, it's not obviously Terence Crawford's first time fighting an unbeaten fighter, but unbeaten fighters, unknown unbeaten fighters, come with another risk that people are just not used to. There's not much tape on Indongo. It's a tricky proposition, this. I think, will Crawford win? Of course, I think Crawford will win, but I don't think it's going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. Indongo's fast. He snaps that left out really, really quick. Does he have the pop in it? Probably not. I think he's got, what, a 50% KO record, but it hurts. Ricky Burns said it after his fight. It hurts. And that Ricky Burns fight, what that taught me, what that showed me was, and that was a shutout, by the way. I think the last person to shut out Ricky Burns was probably Crawford. Ricky Burns is uber experienced. And Ndongo's only got 21 fights. That was his second fight outside of Namibia. He boxed like a man that has 35 to 40 fights. I don't know what his amateur record's like, but he boxed like a man that was so confident. And a man that isn't scared of fighting away from home. And I think look, I don't want to go far and say we're going to see a shock. But do I think he's better than John Molina? Yes. Do I think he's better than Felix Diaz? Yes. Do I think he's better than Thierry Jean? Possibly. Yeah. I don't think he's better than Hank Lundy. I think Hank Lundy's a very good fighter. And he got knocked out by Terence Crawford. So, I don't know. Styles make fights. So, it'll be an interesting one. But, like, guys, what do you think? Terence Crawford, Julius Indongo. A fight for all the belts. Again, a fight that no one's talking about. No one's talking about. But it's a fight that goes down August 19th. I think Crawford will win. But I think he could have a few problems early on. I think the southpaw style and the awkwardness of Indongo and that range, he's got a very long jab. I think he's taller than Crawford as well. Indongo's 5'10 and a half, 5'11. I think Crawford's about 5'8. So it'll be a very interesting fight. I think that Crawford will win, but I expect him to lose a few rounds. I even expect him to be hurt. One thing about Crawford, he gets hit. Crawford does get hit. He likes to... He almost reminds me of Amir Khan, and don't destroy me when I say this, in the sense that Amir Khan gets hit and just wants to fight. Crawford's a bit like that. Gets hit, just wants to fight. Whereas you got someone like Mayweather, for example, gets hit immediately on the defensive, which makes him so good. Crawford gets hit and wants to fight. And he will get hit in this fight. And if he doesn't calm down and tries to go toe-to-toe with Indongo, it could make for a hard night's work. Put it this way, I'm not going to say it's going to could cause an upset, that's silly. It could make for a hard night's work. So this is as easy as Terence Crawford wants to make it easy. If Terence Crawford wants to use his boxing skills and just jab and come in, throw combinations down the outside, fine. If Terence Crawford wants to get on the inside and try and fight, which I think is a strong Indongo, could be an interesting fight.